It's Topic Thunder. It's Topic Thunder. Just acknowledging knowledge with no scholarships. It's Topic Thunder. It's Topic Thunder. Breaking everything down, tech to politics. It's Topic Thunder. It's Topic Thunder. We don't tell you what you want, we just give you what you need. It's Topic Thunder. It's Topic Thunder. News, brews, and views from these Chi-Town streets. Topic Thunder.
You heard the man they call Biz, ladies and gentlemen. It is Topic Thunder. Welcome to the Thunderdome, ladies and gentlemen, the world's most dangerous chat. Oh, look at that. First time we got it right.
I was thinking about it the whole time in my head. I was like, it's the left. Go to the left. Go to the left.
Of all the things that we don't talk about on the pre-show, it's like, okay, make sure you're going all right to your like. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Michael Brooks. That is Ben Jordan. We are your info tenders, story tenders. Here at the Internet Saloon, and we offer you a seat as we pour conversation. That's the part of the show that we love most, because conversing with you, the people in the world's most dangerous chat zone, and we already see our some of the mainstays. Ryan Hansen.
I see us as like the bartenders.
Yeah,
right? We're behind the bar and we're serving. We're talking and we're carrying on conversations, and everybody just sits up at the bar and we all share our stories together.
Just pouring something and slinging it down to bars for somebody else to catch and be like, hey, all right.
Ma Jordan, here you go.
Right, coming right at you.
Dan Brooks, here you go.
Oh, and I guess secret, I got of all the things I threw Ben like 6 different things at like 4 minutes to the start of the show, and he's very patient with me.
I was late getting to the pre-show meeting, though. I will admit that.
I was rambling to begin with, so can confirm. Dan Brooks is a participant in the Thunder Zone. He's watching. He's watching. Let's just put it like that right now. He's watching live because I have it on good authority that Aunt Chris is right now at the Iron Maiden concert.
Ooh.
So throw the horns up for Aunt Chris.
Very
Irons
nice.
up. Enjoying some very, very fine, you can call it heavy metal. It's just heavy rock. It's music. It's fantastic stuff, and it's a great show live.
Yes, she'll be missed in the comments, but yeah, she's definitely going to be having some fun. There he is.
There he is. They brought their effing toys again, ladies and gentlemen. It was 1 or 2 people as we went off the air. I was explaining to Ben.
I would have had a heart attack if it was the other person. So
yes, it would have been a very interesting follow. So we're very happy to have my dad, Dan Effin Brooks, on the show as part of the Thunderdome. So welcome in, everybody. We actually have a lot to talk about. I'm getting a little dry mouth right now.
so should we just? I know we do have a little bit of housekeeping to do, but should we?
We do. Let's do that with a beer. And folks, it's October, right? Exactly. As we break some breaking news to you, ladies and gentlemen, we're also going to enjoy a little bit of well, this is actually a beer, and I haven't had a beer on the show in a long time. I've been trying to stay away from the suds, as they say, or liquid bread, as other people will say. But we couldn't resist because it's October, so we have to have ourselves an Oktoberfest beer. This is actually from our good friends at Pipeworks, those people that brought us the Ninja versus Unicorn.
Yes, which still stands as the coolest can I've ever seen in my life.
It is a very cool can. This is my first time with their Oktoberfest Feist beer. Generally a wheat beer on the if you like a Blue Moon. This is like the OG version of what a Blue Moon is, like a wheat beer. So very Oktoberfest-ish. You can go with a Dunkel too, which is a dark German beer. But we're all about that Oktoberfest, and if you can get to one, have some schnitzel and some spätzle, a little gravy on there. Hell's yeah. So cheers, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go. Yeah, we have breaking news. We have an announcement. We have literally 30 seconds before I hit the go live button. We came to this conclusion.
Yes.
Go ahead and hit him with it, Brooks.
We're going to be moving to Wednesday nights.
Permanent.
This is
Moving
permanently.
forward, I should. Permanently, because we were permanently on Sundays at one time, and then we were permanently on Mondays, and now we're permanently on Wednesdays. And if you wait here long enough, we're gonna wrap all the way back around, and we're gonna be back on Sundays.
It's gonna be like Drunk Friday Night. We're gonna do Shotgun Friday Nights as an homage to the WWE show. That was one of the cooler ideas to come of the weird phase that was. But yeah, we're gonna move to Wednesdays. It works kind of with both personal schedules and I think kind of where we're going right now with the direction we've been teasing. We're going to be adding a little more variety, a little more entertainment, and it will help with a lot of availability with folks to come join our madness. So with that, I like this beer. It's got a solid 3 Brooks bars or Brooks Bolt. Sorry, I like Brooks bars too. Actually, that's a rank we give.
yes. I think Courtney would definitely be a 3 bar on the bars, right? That's like the top general. She's OG.
She's that 3 bar general for sure. A 3 Brooks bar general. As we make our own army, how crazy is that idea? Nobody's ever thought about doing that, or might currently be doing that. But hey, so catch us on Wednesdays now, same time, 7 p.m. We're just kind of shifting into the middle of the week, kind of break things up a little bit. So yeah, we hope you all join us then. But folks, let's get to the world's most creatively named segment called Headlines. And these are headlines you have to go looking for. And this is something we talked about last week. And we're talking about what's going on currently in Iran after the murder of Masha Amari by the basically the police state and the morality police of Iran. We're going on 3 weeks now of women, and now in this case, little girls protesting. We're talking in the classroom at this point. Teenagers were waving their headscarves in the air and shouting, "Get lost," at a man who was part of the paramilitary Baji force. And after anti-government protests sweeping the country spread to the classroom. Again, if this was happening maybe somewhere else, there'd be more footage, but Iran has put a complete lockdown on any kind of internet, basically coming in and out, save for their own generic versions of Google and YouTube and stuff, which obviously is highly monitored and censored. So it's very difficult to get information out of what's going on in there. They're using a lot of VPNs. They're using a lot of like Wi-Fi spots to try to get some of this stuff out. But the imagery is quite haunting, where you have everything, every age group, from elderly women to young girls, out in the streets chanting freedom and freedom and freedom, basically putting their lives on the line.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mince words here.
Yeah, literally, not figuratively.
The conservative number is that there are 100 dead at the hands, at least 100 dead at the hands of the police and military forces used to try to quell these rights. That's just conservative, right? That's just what's getting out. And that's not even considering who's being detained, because they're detaining people by the busloads. And there's video out there of them just getting people being led into buses with just hoods. And these are women, right? Just black hoods over their heads. So nobody knows who they are anymore, where they're going. It's a bad scene for the women right now in Iran. But think about the bravery, the courage, and think about how much they've had to tolerate to get to this point where they're willing to risk their lives.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely are rooting for them, right? You hope for the best, but it's an uphill battle for sure.
It's not only an uphill battle. We have to dig to find these stories. Not only these women, these brave women going against their own government, their own cleric-run government, but there's an information blackout. And we've been guilty of it here too. It's always been about Ukraine. It's always been about Russia. It's always been about these Anglo-Saxon white male things that, I don't know, comfortable, I guess. But here we are talking about, like, this is an uprising of women.
Yeah. And I think that's why, for me, I'm in that weird place where, like, I don't even know what to say. Right? Like that's supposed to be my gimmick, right? I'm supposed to have an opinion on this, and obviously my opinion is, look, I hope yes, that I support these women. They're tremendously brave, but like, yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's just like it's horrible that they have to deal with this, and as they, Ryan Hansen points out in the Thunderdome, laws dictated by religion are fucked. And that's we try to tie it back to what we're living in currently, so that people can kind of maybe get a perspective on it. But you can imagine if the far right Christian base of America got a hold of the government, how crazy it would get here. I mean, it would, and there would probably be women willing to stand up and fight back against it. It just that it's a scary story. It's in real time example of why you have to keep religion and government as separate as humanly possible.
And it is a religious government. There's no doubt that is like the idea behind a lot of the things that we hear about from terrorist organizations like ISIS and stuff. They want this Muslim state, and that's what Iran achieved with their U.S. CIA backed revolution way back, I believe, in the late 70s, 77, 78. Note that Iran was a democratic republic prior to that, and women were free to go get higher education and pursue jobs and careers in all fields before the Ayatollahs took their toll. I don't mean to make a light of it, but what you were saying struck me, because here's something that we can do, right? I think we should start to amplify this story.
Sure.
Everybody that's listening right now, we at least have to post something about this outside of the normal things that we would normally post on social media, just to make sure that people understand what's happening right now. Because there are other people that are getting involved, and there are other people that are making statements outside of just Iran. And I want to turn your attention to a Swedish member of the European Parliament, Abir Al-Sahlani. She cut her hair during a speech during the EU Assembly to show solidarity with the anti-government demonstrations in Iran. I don't want to speak for the woman because the speech is quite moving. It's 52 seconds of pure, absolute resistance and glory.
Okay, so yeah, let's
Play button was already yeah, it's right up top. Yeah, it's a Guardian. They front load their videos like
the regime of the mullahs in Iran is stained with blood. Neither history nor Allah or God Almighty will forgive you for the crimes against humanity that you're committing against your own citizens. We, the peoples and the citizens of the EU, demand the unconditional and immediate stop of all the violence against the women and men in Iran. Until Iran is free, our fury will be bigger than the oppressors. Until the women of Iran are free, we are going to stand with you. Jian, Azadi, women, life, freedom.
Damn. There you go. That's making a goddamn statement right there.
it should. I hope that they kind of raise the hairs on your arms or send a chill down your spine, because that's a good politician right there. That's somebody standing up for something and trying to make a difference and making a statement for the positive. We should admire those things as opposed to going, well, what the hell should you do that? Which I'm sure people, well, again, those folks aren't looking for this story, so they'll probably never see it. But I think we need to make a concerted effort to stand up with
yeah, absolutely. It's at the least we could do.
I think that's the least we can do.
Yep.
Speaking of doing the least you can do, Ben, let's say I offered you $15,000 for that Bob Probert jersey behind your shoulders.
Ooh. Okay.
That's attractive, right? You'd almost immediately be like, you got a deal, man.
Yeah, that's a lot more than I paid for it. Yeah, I think that's a good transaction for me.
Where do we sign? There's a whole lot of I can do a whole lot of things with that money.
Yeah.
And then once we started our negotiations and entered into contractual talks, I started to kind of see, I don't know, I don't know how I would, as a businessman, make my $15,000 back from
on
buying
this
your
very nice jersey.
Bob
Yeah.
Probert jersey, which is absolutely sweet. It's a
Yeah.
great jersey. It's a great throwback. I love the black home jersey. Nice frame, all of it, right? But there's no universe where that's worth $15,000,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
So then what would probably happen is you'd probably try to back out of the deal, right?
I mean, I
You'd find
I
something. You'd find something about
I
that.
try to find
That
some way.
you'd find something about
Yes.
the jersey that like you did it just as an out of
It's
the
not
content.
it's not an original, it's not an authentic jersey, it's a replica. I was duped. I actually don't believe that Bob Probert was a really good fighter because I've never seen it myself. So I don't know. People tell me, but like I don't know. It just seems like it's a bad idea right now for me to spend $15,000 on that. So I think I want out of that deal. Ben. I think I want out of the deal. And then you and I go round and round, and of course, litigation occurs. And then all of a sudden, we get to the point where we're starting to do some discovery and sharing of evidence and information and who got what and when. And all of a sudden, Ben, I call you up. Actually, I don't call you up. I go to my Twitter account.
Ironically. Or
Ironically,
unironically,
I
whatever.
go to my social media to announce that I am now again willing to pay $15,000 for that, bless his soul and your love for him, piece of shit jersey behind your shoulder right now. Why?
Uh-huh.
It
Yeah.
is one of the most fascinating things that I think is under talked about right now. It is basically the admission that Elon Musk is simply an idiot.
Yes.
He's a
Yes.
rich, born with a silver spoon in his mouth idiot.
Who has stolen most of his ideas and everything, you know, from his family's wealth coming from stolen fucking gems
And blood
and
labor.
fucking lithium. Yeah. He's not the genius that he has been portrayed to be by the mass media, if you will.
Remember when he originally offered, and I've been biting my tongue trying to be a nicer guy on social media and not putting people on blast for their pure lunacy. But remember back when all the bros were like, all right, he's going to bring back free speech. There'll be no censorship. It's going to be, I can say what I want to because Elon Musk is going to.
Yep.
Talk about the idiots following an idiot, right?
Yeah.
I get so frustrated with these people because I generally find a lot of them to be very intelligent, very very good people.
That's what's the most frustrating about a lot of it is that these people should know better.
They should know better. Like you thought Elon Musk had any interest in improving your life. Anyway, that's a sidetrack, and I don't want to get on it because I want to really focus on why and why now. Why now at this moment of history when information is becoming so weaponized? There are obvious movements and everything going on in Ukraine and Russia, the threat with China and Taiwan, everything going on in the Middle East between Saudi Arabia and Yemen, Iran right now. It's already been proven that the Billionaires Club, regardless of geographical locations or allegiances, are moving on something. And I'm not trying to sound all Alex Jones here, but there's no good, smart business reason for Elon Musk to go back and say, I will pay the original price. None that I can think of.
It is very confusing how the timeline played out the way that it has for him to then come around and be like, okay, I guess I'll go ahead and pay it.
It's just,
and it's not even that. It's like, all right, you got me. I'll stick to the deal. It sounds more like he's just kind of saying, all right, let's just stop with the litigation. I'll pay it. Let's
raises a couple of other questions about him. because I don't think anybody's ever done a background check on Elon Musk. Although if they probably did, it'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
What I'm just struck by the historical time that we're in right now, and the
I mean,
possibilities.
what are you thinking? What if you know, in your most Alex Jones, parallel universe, whatever, what do you think could possibly be happening? Because it would be interesting to see. We'll have it on tape. If it plays out, you look like a goddamn genius.
That's a very closed circle, right? You can have $1 million and you get to know people, but you don't know those people. You get 10 million, you get 50. There are these different strata and tiers, right, of rich, right? You cross that 100 billion line, you cross that 200 billion line, 150 billion. You're talking about the people, whether you know their names or not, are moving and shaking things on the daily that affect our lives in ways that we're not even aware of, right? And that goes to people who's on television, who's in marketing, what the marketing, what they're selling you, everything, right? And it almost seems like, with the way you see newspapers and radio stations being bought by conglomerates and hedge funds, and newsrooms being stripped bare, and they're using the old, what you call the old AP wire, just like these pre-written stories. Reuters is one of them, but even now Reuters is half owned by an agency called TASS, which is Russian oligarch. There's this information encircling, right? That just given, like, a lot of the information that's come out of Iran right now is from Twitter. Same thing with Ukraine. Like, you could follow, like, Russia's really good at their disinformation. They're really, really good at it. And they've got their own disinformation and psyops teams in Ukraine trying to prove that Ukrainians did all this to their own people. It is just, to me, if he buys it, it'll become a battlefield like any other.
So you're saying, I'm trying to wrap my head around this, because I'm kind of with Dan F and Brooks here. I'm a little lost. Just want to make sure that I'm understanding here. Are you saying that Elon Musk is in communication, or is in some sort of cahoots with Russia and Iran and these types of countries to buy Twitter and then open it up so much that it allows their disinformation to have that much more influence, because it is truly unfiltered and unchecked?
Well, they'd also have the ability to censor too, then, right? So they would be able to block whatever they would. It would be a form of control,
right? Right, because they'd have,
and they would do both. Let's make no mistake. They do both, right? They'd flood the field, and then they'd cut out important voices from the opposition. Tried and true method. So I know it's a long way to basically saying, like, it's just a one person having no interest in the general public, which Elon Musk has proven again and again, having control over basically the internet's town hall, not the internet saloon, it's our show, but the town hall that is Twitter. Is very dangerous to have in the hands of what's proven out to be a megalomaniac.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see where this goes, and I'm sure this isn't the last twist and turn in the Elon Musk Twitter story.
Oh, because Twitter is going to pursue damages. Again, this is
stock price.
Like what Musk did was to Dogecoin was a warm up for this. Think about what happened. He said he was going to buy it for this amount. Then he started trashing it, which started tanking the price. And he was like, oh, well, maybe, and he was an obvious negotiation tactic to try to lower, like, again, it makes no sense for him to backtrack all of this and go back. You know what? Let me pay the original price. I hope Twitter, I literally hope Twitter, like, F's him over so hard. and that they end up like owning a part of Tesla or SpaceX.
Yeah, Cordy asks, does Elon make the tournament of punchables after all this?
We really have to do that again.
He does have a punchable face.
Oh God, yes, he does. Especially we got that swarmy cheek smile. Like, yeah,
I'm smarter than you.
yeah. I've lived a life of extreme elite privilege, and I'm better than you because of it. Yeah, we don't like that attitude here on the show.
No, I know people with that attitude. They suck.
Yeah, they do suck. It kind of sucks. You suck. You know what else sucks? Seeing the world powers unite to try to make an influence over our elections via energy prices. So before all of these people start complaining on your social media about all the gas prices and blaming it on the POTUS or blaming it on the Democrats, which again, we're like 60-40 on the show. Ben and I have we have feet in all kinds of political ideas and subscribe to no designation. We just know the people that are for good, and we can see the people who are like, yeah, you're trying really hard to be bad.
Yep.
Look at what happened just today. OPEC Plus, we'll get to what that plus means in just a second. They're going to cut oil production next month by 2 million barrels a day to shore up their prices, despite the fact that President of the United States Joe Biden has been pressuring OPEC to not do this. Why? To stem the tide of inflation. Okay, so our president, our government's actively going, look, maybe you should just pump the brakes on this a little bit. OPEC Plus is like, go fuck yourself. OPEC and non-OPEC allies, a group often referred to as OPEC Plus, decided at their first face-to-face gathering in Vienna since 2020 to reduce production by 2 million barrels a day for November. Oh my, everything's jumping on the screen. This includes Saudi Arabia and Russia. But however, if you keep reading down the story, it's going to be a conglomerate of Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, who are really going to be cutting their oil exports at probably the worst possible time. In a statement from the White House, Biden said he was disappointed by the short-sighted decision by OPEC Plus to cut production quotas while the global economy is dealing with the continued negative impact of Putin's invasion of Ukraine. So Biden directed the Department of Energy to release another 10 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve next month, try to balance everything. Again, yes, think about this. We're coming up on election November 8th, right? That's the big midterms, right? Big deal in the United States. There's a lot on the line, from Roe v. Wade to whatever you think's going on with the POTUS and his looming prosecution, all of it, right? National security, where we're going with civil rights, Supreme Courts, judge, all of it. Democracy, possibly itself, legitimately.
And one of the biggest issues is going to be gas prices.
Because that's what's going to get the yokels. And people,
that hits everybody.
It's going to get
everybody. Everybody has to go to the gas pump and see the number at the end of when they're done filling their tank. It's a lot. I mean, let's not make a mistake. It's a fucking lot of money right now.
It is, and I'm not trying to make a light of it, right? But this is I'm making light of basically the Republicans being a party of grievance and not substance. Like, what's your solution then? Where's your pressure on OPEC?
Nobody's exactly. What are you doing to try to stop this from happening?
Yeah, where's the statement from Mitch McConnell condemning
where's
the action?
Ted Cruz?
Where's Ted Cruz right now? He's waiting for gas prices to go up so he can blame the Democrats. So why would this be happening like now? Oh, it's a month before a major election in the United States. Oh, no. Oh, imagine that. No. Go for it. You would actually hit the cue right on the mark. Because, ladies and gentlemen, our worst fears may be imagined. As George W. Bush once said, there's an excess of evil occurring right before our eyes. And not only is it because of election season, but there's a whole lot going on because Russia stands to make more money themselves if petroleum prices go up, as explained by our good friends at The Guardian in a story titled Putin and the Prince, Fears in West as Russia.
I love that book.
Putin.
It's like a kid's book, isn't it? Putin and the Prince.
Let's hope it's a good ending. Russia and Saudi Arabia deepen ties. Prince Mohammed's decision to strengthen relations has alarmed allies, but he has long admired the Russian leader. You can please go check out our good friends at The Guardian. We host a lot of their stories. And if you want to read this yourself, please do. But let's just kind of summarize right now that earlier in the summer, our president went to Riyadh in Saudi Arabia to meet with MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, right? The heir to the throne and basically de facto ruler of Saudi Arabia. He who ordered the brutal murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, right? Very stark entrance because there's usually a handshake and a photo opportunity between leaders of a nation. There was a fist bump, right? Biden's goal was to come to the prince and make a plea to please keep energy prices down. Legitimately, not necessarily begging, but pleading. Look, right. The global economy, come on. You got to do us a solid here. There's no good reason. You're building cities in the sand with all the money that you have.
right? You fucking assholes. Do you need any more?
Why would you do this? You're going to hurt everybody. And MBS was like, cool story, bro.
right. Now I got a sports show to put on to tell people how I'm not horrible.
Right. Absolutely. Oh, and at the WWE, are they going to still do it with Vince out?
Oh yeah.
Are they?
They have a pay-per-view coming up like in like 2 months. Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul is your headliner.
Oh wow, that is actually is big. Like this wrestling sidestep, but like yeah, that is actually kind of a draw of a show, right? I wonder if that's because the contracts are signed and the blood was dried and all like
I have it has nothing to do with Vince. Nick Khan and Stephanie and Triple H and all them. They all said they don't give a shit about that. It's pro wrestling, so they're like they don't get involved in that stuff. Them doing business with Saudi Arabia does not make a blip, right? But golfers leaving the PGA Tour to go to a Saudi-backed league makes huge headlines in both sports and news. Because I don't know why. Because it's a legitimate sport versus a fake sport.
So it's a paid show, basically, right?
The WWE shows,
yeah.
Billions of dollars.
So any promoter anywhere is gonna take it like that. Any level of promoter, like I don't know. Say you're a fledgling independent wrestling company and. Darefest in Tinley Park, run by the Tinley Park Police Department, approaches you and says, "Hey, would you like to do some wrestling shows in our Darefest, and we'll pay you for it?" Like, you'd be fools not to take the money, right? So I guess in that regard, and we thank Angelo and welcome Billy Wack for joining us. The axis of evil. It's true though. Look, you got China fucking around. You got Russia, obviously. Now Saudi Arabia is kicking dust. Iran's doing what they're doing.
By the way,
North Korea.
Real quick, since we talked about it.
Yes.
WWE and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have agreed to a 10-year deal for 2 events per year running from 2018 to 2027. The deal may end up being extended due to missed events during the pandemic. It's going to end up in they get paid $50 million per event.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's an enormous amount of revenue for WWE. In context, a modern WrestleMania generates about 15 million in ticket sales.
That's a lot.
The largest gate ever for a pro wrestling event was 17 million in 2016 in Arlington, Texas for WrestleMania 32. 17 million. They get paid 50 per Saudi show, and there's 2 per year.
That's
between now and 2028. So, yeah, not only are they not going to stop doing shows, they're gonna extend that contract as long as they possibly fucking can.
That's sad because you would think at least Stephanie would be like, "Look, this is a bad idea," but it's a 10-year deal, and there are consequences for pissing off the Saudis.
Because no one calls them out on it, right? John Oliver did a segment on it, but he's on HBO and he's like the third tier down on the media spectrum,
Right.
but like there's just nobody. ESPN is still in business with WWE. They're happy to do business with WWE, but at the same time, they won't do business with Live Golf because WWE somehow is in the blind spot. People don't care because they're fake, right? And it's all goofy. And Vince McMahon's a goofy guy, and he's always been portrayed as a goof. And so it just gets put off to the side that they're doing business with Saudi Arabia. That they don't catch any negative flack for it at all. There is none.
Who's hosted the Live event here in the United States?
Was
it in New Jersey, right? It was what's the golf course?
Guy, his name's on everything.
It was Bedminster, right? It was Bedminster golf.
Yeah.
It was
Trump. That's the guy.
Oh, interesting. So wait, so Trump hosts this golf tournament by some upstart golf league?
Yeah, run by the
Saudis.
Yeah,
and
he also has paperwork just laying around his office.
I've heard he's had this paperwork lying. I've seen pictures of there's a mocha next to a top secret document.
He just thought about declassifying.
Didn't his son-in-law get like $2 billion from who?
Yeah. Yes.
Wait, who did he get it from?
Do I not recall the United States selling a large amount of weapons and military equipment
to
a couple of years ago?
I remember that story too.
Country.
There's a great podcast that probably covered it.
Yeah.
But to who?
Shit.
I can't remember.
Saudi
Arabia. Oh.
There's nothing fishy going on here at all.
And who did Saudi Arabia just get real buddy with?
Oh, let's go back.
Wait, who?
Oh, this guy.
Oh, that's not
Prince
good.
Mohammed is a long admirer.
Oh yeah, there's actually
long-time admirer.
There's actually a good quote down there because I guess so this Prince guy was a real asshole. Let's not mince words. Called in 2016. He was the deputy defense minister of his kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He was 30, and this is a quote from The Guardian. He summoned British diplomats, among them senior MI6 officers. The sole purpose of the meeting was to seek the UK's advice on how to deal with Putin. Now, this is a quote from one of the Britons that was in that meeting. He was fascinated by him. He seemed to admire him. He liked what he did. Fast forward, that was just 2016. Think about it. That seems decades ago. But that was just 6 years ago. And now it's getting real cozy. And all this other money's floating around. Again, where they're building cities in the sand. And I'm not kidding. We'll cover. All right, next week we're going to do a story about his big dream of this ginormous enclosed city. Like, I'm not kidding. $500 billion they want to spend on this indoor. All right, look it up right now and just marvel at the concept and the arrogance of the idea of itself. And just the sheer, we've got so much fuck off money that, please look it up. They have so much fuck off money that $2 billion to the son-in-law of the president of the United States for access to, did I say access? I mean, to start an investment company, even though Jared Kushner has never had a company that's turned a profit in his life or his family's life, and subsidized by the government because they basically run Section 8 housing and are true definition of modern slumlords. Did I say that out loud? Sorry. Come at me. It's cool. This show only stands to grow from your publicity. But just,
This is crazy, Brooks.
I know.
Saudi Arabia has unveiled designs for its ambitious urban project, quote, The Line, unquote, touted as a one-building city in the desert that will stretch over 106 miles and ultimately house 9 million people in what is basically a one-building city.
That they basically, I don't know what story you're looking at, but it's so big that there will be people
It's a
living in
CNN
this
story,
one building that will never ever meet each other. They'll never come across each other. And there's like different sections. It's a city. Like there's the industrial section, there's a commerce section, there's
dude. Though details are scarce, those behind the design claim the line will run entirely on renewable energy with no roads, cars, or emissions. High-speed rail will connect sections of the line, the press release adds. That's actually fucking genius.
It kind of is. But ask yourself this. Why would an oil-rich company design a city that runs on renewables?
Good question. I didn't think of that immediately, but you're right. Like, why?
What do you know?
What do you know? It does like critics have cast doubt on whether the project is technologically feasible, while others have described the vision unveiled in a flashy photo promo video as dystopian.
Oh, come on. You would imagine, like, all right, so if he can actually pull it off, because it would be an engineering marvel. There's no doubt about that. Loosely $500 billion, but if you know construction projects, they never go as planned or on budget. So ever. So price tag $700 billion, which again, they've got stupid money. It doesn't matter to them.
Designs for the mirrored skyscraper mark the latest development in Saudi Arabia's Nome project, a mega development spanning 3 countries, which began construction in 2019. The metropolis will purportedly be powered by clean energy and run with the aid of artificial intelligence, robot maids, flying taxis, and a giant artificial moon headline as features of a promised tech paradise.
Again, stupid money. We're talking some. All right, so okay, you get some extra money in your paycheck, and you're like, okay, I've got a case of GI Joes to my left over there, and it's little extra money, $25 here and there. Get me a GI Joe. This is the level of fuck off money that is dreamable.
Yeah,
only
the Nome project. Yeah, the Nome project is backed by $500 billion from the Saudi government and the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, a sovereign wealth fund chaired by bin Salman.
No, so what they're basically is public and private money, even though all public money is private money. It's a kingdom. It's not a government. It's a kingdom. It's a government in name and in function and in decoration only. Right? It's a way for them to get their buddies a job. The same way I always think that if I win a lotto with 3 digits, I'm going to start up a company. What do they do? I don't care. Here's $100,000 a year. Do whatever you want. That's what he's done. Oh, and by the way, you have to sanction all my devious activities, murders, assassinations, and hostile forays into sovereign countries like Yemen. So yeah, we got that going for us. Oh yeah, what else has Russia been up to in the last week or so? Hey, let's talk about the Nord Stream pipeline. Did you hear this story? Did you see this story? It's been like a week and a half since we've talked.
Yeah, I may have seen it in past, but I don't remember offhand.
So we covered the story about Nord Stream 2, which is a pipeline, and Nord Stream 1, also a pipeline between Russia and Germany, supplying natural gas, right? In Russia's now ever-increasing quest to use energy and their natural resource of oil and gas as a weapon, there were 4 leaks that sprung up in Nord Stream 1. We've talked about Nord Stream 2 because...
Oh, yes. Okay, now I remember this now.
And you could see maybe 1 leak coming out, being like, oh gosh, ecological disaster. This is terrible. What happened? No one happens. Another one happens.
Yeah.
And then a fourth happens. And then you have to go, what's happening? And that's exactly what's happening right now in the world courts. And this is going to the Security Council of the UN and all kinds of fun stuff as both sides are now bickering and going. Russia's going, well, we didn't do anything about it. Why do the West? That's the US. That's the CIA. And everybody else in the world is going, why the fuck would you do that? Because what ended up happening was a release of methane into the sky that in and of itself had a hand in accelerating global warming.
Oh, good.
That was how much methane. And it also threatened the viability of the pipeline itself, because if salt water gets in there, everything corrodes on the inside and you can't use it. So who would stand to gain from sabotaging this pipeline? Not Germany. They're like, we need our gas. They gotta keep their homes warm and keep the fires going. Although I shouldn't say it like that. Poland, which I'm sure Germany was sharing some of the gas with, all of Europe. So we have another case of Russia right now using their energy resources as a weapon, because Russia has now said, hey guys, all the infrastructure is there for Nord Stream 2. We can turn that one on. It would just take about 20 days of inspections to turn it on, and you guys can get our gas again. Why the fuck would you?
So they sabotage the other one so that they could say, well, we have this other one over here that's working just fine. That if you would just turn it back on, we would be happy to do business with you again.
And I'm certainly not.
It's so obvious.
It is obvious, and that's Russia's MO, because the minute the Russians and the Kremlin specifically blame somebody else for something, they're the ones who did it.
Yeah, right.
Like when a former president says it was them, it was a witch hunt, the emails, the voter fraud, it all ended up being just a self-admission. That is actually pathological psychology. On Russia's part, it's full on their method of propaganda going back 1,000 years. And you can, if you're at all interested in some of the history of Russia, I highly seek out Dr. Fiona Hill, who actually gave testimony during one of the impeachment hearings. She is a highly sought after expert in Russia, the history of Russia, and has worked in our government at the highest levels of security and our intelligence apparatus for a long time. She's brilliant. She's absolutely brilliant. She's matter of fact, but she's brilliant. Putin.
So I have a question. Since we're on Putin and Ukraine, I watched a clip of a guy, I believe his name was Dave Smith, who was recently on the Joe Rogan podcast. I didn't watch the whole thing, but there was a clip that was pulled when he was talking about Russia and Ukraine, this whole deal, right? And was talking basically about his opinion was, and the way this guy laid it out was that it's been painted as this kind of unprovoked thing, like Putin did this thing with Ukraine unprovoked. But this Dave Smith guy was laying out that it really isn't unprovoked in that, and I want to. Well, I'm asking you because I want to understand, was this guy bullshit or not?
Oh yeah, I'm here for it all.
So his claim was that when the Soviet Union broke up, they said, okay, fine, we agreed to this deal with the promise that the Ukraine will never join NATO. Right? And we said, okay, we agree to those terms. But then afterwards, we started to try to buddy up to Ukraine and started to say, come on, Ukraine, why don't you go ahead and join NATO? And Putin's sitting there like, wait a minute, we had a deal in place. We specifically agreed that you weren't going to do this thing. Now you're kind of shadily trying to buddy up and influence this guy, the Ukraine, to join NATO, which we're explicit we don't want. And so that kind of kicked off this whole Ukraine issue, and that it isn't so much unprovoked, but that we're kind of playing a little bit shady here, in that we were trying to kind of backdoor our way around a deal that we agreed to. Is that accurate, the way that you understand it, or does that sound like something that doesn't sound right to you?
That sounds actually my first blush, and I'll explain why. That sounds like a lot of Russian propaganda, which Rogan doesn't vet out at any capacity whatsoever, and thinks it all sounds good because whatever. There's a lot to that, right? So I want to kind of walk some of that back. When the USSR dissolved, there was a referendum immediately after. It was in 1991, and it was an overwhelming majority. It was almost unanimous in every oblast, precinct, whatever, that Ukraine wanted to be separate from the USSR. So actually, Ukraine might actually predate Russia as an official country. Kyiv was formed before. It's actually one of the oldest cities in all of Europe. So there's sovereignty there, and of course, maps change over time. So the idea of Ukraine wanting to enter NATO only became a thing in probably the last year. To be quite frank with you. I know Putin made some allegations about that when he initially invaded Ukraine in 2014, when he entered Donbass and Luhansk and took Crimea with his little green men. And we actually, I'm pretty sure we talked about that on a podcast of yore, where he was literally, the Russian troops were literally not wearing fatigues, they didn't have any idea.
Yes, I remember that.
Right. And of course, tried and true. If you're look at your Russian history, this doesn't go back too far. It actually goes back to Stalin and Khrushchev, that the Russians will come into an area, largely slaughter the populace to get to a certain extent where they can install their own governance there. And then all of a sudden they declare the need for a referendum or a vote, whether this particular area wants to join Russia. And we saw that just recently with Ukraine too, right? So NATO's goals aren't necessarily aggressive. I can see them being supportive of Ukraine. There is no evidence that Ukraine was looking to apply to NATO. If NATO was a problem, or if they Ukraine wanted to join NATO, they would have done so at the invasion of Donbass and Crimea in 2014. There would have been an immediate application, right?
Right.
But there wasn't, right? There just simply wasn't. Russia has given the idea that NATO is this awful, terrible thing, right?
Right. Yeah, he really hates NATO for some reason.
Well, because you have to understand Putin, right? He hates Western ideology. He hates everything about the idea of freedom and control. It is or freedom and lack of control. He is an old school despot that you read about in history books and such, and it will go down that way. And that, like, he just had a different view of the world, I guess. And well, that's what they do. The Russian army has, thanks Dan, contributing, like their army's raping and murdering people. Like, mass graves are still being found in Izium, and they liberated Izium over a week ago, and they're finding more mass graves. Or there'll be more of these stories once they get to Mariupol and they get to Kherson, which the Ukrainians are doing. Like, and in no capacity is Russia the good guy here. None. Even for the Russian people, we showed you how they were mobilizing their own people, and there are plenty of stories right now out there. But there are dudes that's sitting out in the middle of cold, wet forest with no gear, no rain gear, no rations, no weapons. And there's no commander, there's no walkie-talkie. They have nothing. They were just like mobilized and said, here you go, hang out here. Well,
Yeah,
for what?
Wait here.
It,
Bullets. That's what you're gonna wait
and
for.
that's what you're going to wait for, and catch them, please. It's a long, I don't know. You have to get to know Russia, right? You have to understand, like, what they say, what they do is different than the way we think, and their ideas, and the Russian government, right? Not the people, because again, people at our level want just to be cool, left alone, live our lives, treat everybody the same, treat everybody cool, everybody can say, but we just want, yeah, don't fuck with me, right? Russia's been the one that's been agitating. Ask the people of Georgia. That was 2008. Russia did the same thing. They rolled their tanks in, they got their people in, they held a referendum, and now Georgia is part of the Russian Federation, right? It was just, so the anybody spouting that, anybody tolerating that without going back and looking about the actions on the international stage by these actors, I think is propaganda, to be really honest with you.
Interesting. I figured as much, but I was curious to get your opinion, and this seemed like the right place to drop that in.
Yeah, it's just it's weird because Rogan's kind of, I don't know what's up with the dude. At one point, it was a fun and interesting podcast that had different ideas, and specifically, like, first exposure to Jordan Peterson. At first, you're like, okay, I'll listen, but you quickly realize how creepy it is. But then, he's had Graham Hancock on. He's had Randall Carlson.
He had Randall Carlson on again recently. Actually.
Did he? Who I just recently found out was
talking about Atlantis.
He's a big Trumper, by the way, which I
Randall
found,
Carlson.
Yeah, which I found very interesting. Atlantis, sure, crazy, because that's going to be referenced in the new Black Panther movie. I know we're completely just made a left turn, but Namor the Submariner will make his MCU debut. I
saw that.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Well, let's move on. Oh, are we talking about water, Ben? Are we talking about water?
We are going to talk about water, unfortunately.
We kind of have to acknowledge what had happened to our good friends in Florida when Hurricane Ian kind of made landfall and, I don't know, wrecked the place, or at least a good portion of the area.
At least, yeah, Naples and Fort Myers definitely got fucked up.
And if you saw any of the coverage of this, and I don't know how you could avoid it here in the U.S., because of course it's plastered everywhere. It was rather devastating to have a near Category 5 hurricane, because I think winds sustained up to 155 miles an hour, making landfall is pretty devastating to an already low-lying state like what was that noise? That's fun.
Oh, that was the video that we're going to pair up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Bennett sent me a video of just what had happened. I guess the
time lapse of Fort Myers, Florida.
Which it looks like it was on like a utility pole or something like that, right?
Yeah, it was like I would bet it was like the local TV station,
like Weather Cam or something like that, like that. Yeah, and just horrifying, because there are very few things more destructive on this planet than just water.
So this is it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It's a time lapse of what exactly happened. Water World always.
No, not in the box office, my friend.
So okay, so here we are. This is the same stationary camera, right? You watch the water. Oh, there it is, starting to creep up the road.
And you're already thinking like, wow, that's fucked up.
Yeah. Right? Like, oh shit, that's a lot of water.
Oh
shit.
Is that lumber?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Watch that building in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep your eye on that one for a second.
Goodbye, old red.
Yeah. Those trees. Let me look at that. Oh,
come on. Come on. That's so frightening.
Are you kidding?
You don't survive in that water. There is no swimming. There's no staying above that.
No way. That look what it's doing to those trees.
Oh
That's
man.
the same road.
Yeah.
That's the same camera showing you the same road that was
Ah,
empty just a minute ago. Look at that. Up to the top of the trees now.
man, that is it's moving with such force and speed. It's not
Yes.
still water, right? That is
150 some mile an hour winds blowing that fucking water around.
yeah, that is nothing survives that. You could be the best swimmer in the world and
No, yeah.
there's no surviving that.
A boat doesn't even survive.
Nope. Nope.
I mean, that is so intense, dude. That is like, then you when I sent that clip to you, your response was like, yeah, water just there's no it's so scary.
Can't stop.
Look, there's no stopping it. What are you gonna do? Nothing.
Nothing. And that's why global warming is so important. It's because we're facing water. Right? This is
It's
this
up
is
to
the enemy.
Top of those trees. That is just I can't. It's shocking that it's the same road as the beginning.
Yeah. That's what 12 feet of water,
Easy,
15 feet of water.
easy. Now look at the wind blowing the other direction.
Right. So
It blows it back the other way.
like the storm, like yeah, and that's what's left. Like, geez, it's like back in my youth, like seeing pictures of Beirut and be like, oh
Yes.
shit, that's wow,
Like a war zone.
terrible. Yeah,
And that all happened in like in less than 24 hours.
absolutely.
That's so crazy and intense, man.
Absolutely incredible. We may have to skip around here a little bit, Ben. There's a story that I'm going to put on hold because I know it's near and dear to your heart, and we have to talk about it. I think now's time to show you probably the most terrifying thing the internet has brought to me, and I want to bring to you, which of course kind of makes for our Ellie segment. Of course, this is the way it's going to go, folks. This is what's going to happen. It's either going to be us in them, that will be us, or they're just going to figure out that they don't need us anymore. But anybody down for some robot parkour? No, we haven't heard.
I'm always down for some robot parkour.
We haven't heard from our Belgian sex doll dude for a while. We actually may have to check in. We may have to check in how that wicked three-way marriage he has is going. But yeah, I may have sent Ben like a wrong link here. So bear with us.
No, I have the video of
right. So this is brought to us by Boston's Dynamics Robot Studio.
Oh, they're basically human. Okay, why do we need soldiers anymore? Come on!
Wait, how two of them? Oh yeah, look at that. There's multiples, and they're doing this shit.
I agree. I agree with Anzo.
Look at the
if they're capable of this, why are we sending human men and women into battle?
Well, why are we battling in the first place?
Well,
backflip and they stick the landing.
Come on!
Now
Get out
we're all
of
gonna
here.
die. Now I'm all for these motherfuckers exploring space and other planets. Get the hell out there. Check it out. We should be sending those dudes to Mars, and you should be trucking around the moon and seeing all the fun things.
Parkour.
Yeah, I'm doing parkour in those craters. All right. Now we're gonna try to move on because I've got a lot going on here. That was our Ellie. Well, I guess this could be our Ellie too. Have you ever heard of coronal mass ejections? That has nothing to do with male anatomy.
No, but it sounds bad.
It is when a supercharged plasma stream jets out from the sun. It's generally why we have the aurora borealis, because it sends these supercharged particles out into space, and those particles interact with our atmosphere, and that's why we get those cool wavy lines. We have a solar observatory that caught a coronal mass ejection, And then somebody put little planet Earth to scale. So first the ejection and then the scale of the ejection. Hello. Hey, buddy. That's a coronal mass ejection. That's Earth.
Oh,
So
wow.
what I'm saying is, if one of those were to be aimed in our direction, it would literally threaten life on the planet if it was strong enough and hit us the right way. At the very least, it ruins electronics everywhere. And we're only minorly addicted to our electronics. This is
only minorly addicted.
this is our Facebook. This is our.
It's fascinating to watch it happen over and over again.
Right? That is so much energy right there. And the sun's like, I don't care. I do this all day.
Right. That is literally nothing to me.
That is nothing to me. But that would fry life on the.
It would literally end life.
It could. It really definitely could. But we don't want to end life on a planet. But we want to show you some of the cool things that some of the life on this planet does, especially with their youngin. We've covered Fiona the hippo and her brother Fritz.
When I'm carrying your love.
But I don't think we've ever shown you guys a beaver before.
Whoa.
Now we're going to show you 2 beavers.
Yeah. Whoa.
Woo!
What? Oh, okay. This is much more tolerable.
And every day's a dream when I'm carrying your love with me.
Beavers carry their babies.
And every day's a dream when I'm carrying your love with
me.
me.
Our personal life on.
If I was going to let them in on our personal life, it would be Dick Talk, not TikTok. Trademark. Because I'm sure the guy from Pornhub just said it on a whim, and well, he's probably owns an island right now. Yeah, I don't really know how to make a proper transition of this. I found. I'll just be honest with you. I found this. No heads up, no warning, no communication, no text message, phone call. No, there wasn't even a title in the email. There was just an email with. Folks, this video. All I got, folks. So I guess if you want more information, you can go ahead to Facebook.com.
I like when we have other companies wanting to come in and do business with us. So I'm interested to see what Super Wrestlers is.
I intend to reach out to the person that sent me that video, and they kind of need to come on the show and explain a little bit more about what that all is. So our people, Ben, are talking to their people, and there's
people.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. We have lots of people that all come here for one reason and one reason only, and that includes my dad, Jennifer Brooks. That's for the lightning round. Ladies and gentlemen, get those bolts in the world's most dangerous chat room, the Thunderdome, because, folks, if you don't know the rules right now, I'm going to give them to you. 3 stories. 1, 2, 3. We want to do it like this, like the Boy Scouts. 3 stories, because 3 stories enter the chat room. That is the world's most dangerous chat zone, and 1 gets read. Folks, we call this the lightning round, and we welcome you to it. We're not going to dilly-dally past the point that I'm trying to furiously find the folder that I didn't open up. Ready to go right now with, ladies and gentlemen, headline number 1. Sex offender who lost limbs in a train horror trashes Glasgow shop with prosthetic arm.
There's a lot going on there.
There is actually. Headline number 2, John Paul College student banned from school grounds because of, quote, unsuitable, end quote, mullet haircut. And headline number 3, man caught urinating and defecating on ex-wife grave.
Ooh, whoa, that guy's really got some issues. All right, hit me with those ones. This is a little low key. There's not like one that just jumps right out at you. Wow, already a vote for number 2.
But is that
He's
a
just
vote
like,
for
all right,
number 2? Is that a vote for
I don't
number
need-
3? You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
So, folks, I am going to read that as you are probably carefully deliberating. Let me refresh your memories.
Those are already flying.
Folks are flying out, but let's go over one more time your headlines with number 1. Sex offender who lost limbs in train horror trashes Glasgow shop with prosthetic arm. Headline number 2, John Paul College student banned from school because of unsuitable mullet haircut. And headline number 3, it's awesome. Headline number 3, man caught urinating and defecating on ex-wife's grave. It was a bad breakup, was the quote.
Definitely.
So, folks, all right. People are
all right.
voting.
So we got 3 votes for number 2 already. A vote for number 3 and a vote for number 1. And of course, we have our alternate headlines. from Ryan Hansen.
Remix.
Nubchucks. No dirt education and pissed off and spiteful. Nubchucks might be the best one ever. Ever.
Dan Brooks in with a vote for number 2.
Number 2. It looks like number 2 is going to run away with this thing.
Nubchucks.
When we finally open up the Topic Thunder store, we're going to have a fucking t-shirt that just
we're going to sell nunchucks, but we're going to call them nunchucks.
Yeah, for the really short nunchucks, right?
like personalized for your keychain, nunchucks.
That'll be the Topic Thunder keychain, just this chain with like these 2 little nubs.
What do you got there? Nubchucks.
Yeah, your nubchucks.
What do you know? I got nubchucks.
It could also be beef jerky. Topic Thunder nubchucks.
Could be anything at that point. It's a
Topic Thunder beef jerky.
It's nubchucks. It's nubchucks. Topic Thunder beef jerky brought to you by, I don't know, super wrestlers. That's where this is all going. So, folks, I think we're having enough trouble breathing right now. So I think voting, we're going to close it up here. I think number 2 is the runaway winner.
Oh, God.
As I'm drying my tears, I'm going to send Ben the old link here so we can.
Yeah, because we got to see the reason everybody picked this is because they want to see this guy's fucking mullet.
And
like, what kind of mullet gets you kicked out of school, right?
well, let's be honest, it is a Christian church, but this is from perthnow.com.au. So our good friends down in Australia. Trina Wilson is maintaining the rage as her son faces the 4th week ban from the grounds of John Paul College because he is in contravention of the school's policy relating to hairstyles. That's the picture of the mullet, by the way. So long story short, I guess there was they had a big game, and it was tradition if they win the big game that the kids shave their heads or cut their hair in a crazy way. And it's well known the school doesn't like it. And they usually like kind of ask the person who does the weird haircut to go ahead and wear a hat. That is a mullet to end all mullets. You don't get much shorter up front.
Fantastic. Yeah.
You can get longer in the back. The party can get, I guess, longer. But as far as like that's
he was suspended or he's banned.
He's still suspended, so he's not allowed on grounds until.
So he's not like kicked out or anything. He's just cut your hair when you come back when you cut your hair,
which is insane because it's far from me to decry any kind of religious values, a religious institution. But yeah, that's kind of weird to not treat that glorious mullet with all the respect properly due. Because damn,
Yeah,
that
that
is
is
something
a
else right
fine
there.
fucking mullet. It
Holy
is.
crapes!
I mean, he took a lot of time growing that hair out. I mean,
Real.
that's a lot of effort put into this, and he shaved. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't planning on keeping it forever. I mean, it's a joke, like you say, that it was because they won the big game. He was probably shaving it. And he thought, wouldn't it be funny if I just left the back like this? I mean, he wasn't going to do it long. Like, have a goddamn sense of humor, people.
A religious wait, what? No, there's no room for humor in religion, Ben. Just can't have it. It might lead to irony.
That mullet has to be distracting.
It sure does. Imagine trying to sleep with that. It's like,
or just like sitting next to that kid in school. You're just like, oh man, that mullet.
It's like having hair snakes on the back of your head. You just can't get rid of them. But you can. But you already made a commitment. You've committed, ladies and gentlemen. Hair snakes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've committed to Topic Thunder, and we thank you for that. Welcome to Wednesday Thunder. We're moving to Wednesdays, folks. It's as permanent as our 2-year decisions go. So welcome to our 2-year Wednesday run, ladies and gentlemen. From here on out, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right on Wednesdays, is when we're going to bring you more Topic Thunder with a little different flavor. And of course, we like to cross reference all the great things that brought you here. So that nameless retro wrestling show, Ben.
Yes, this week we're watching a little bit more Smoky Mountain Wrestling this week. So a little bit short notice. Brian Skibo going to join us once again. Looking forward to that. So yeah, we're watching Smoky Mountain tomorrow night, 8 p.m. We'll be talking about it. Join us. It'll be fun.
And coming up on Topic Thunder, we're gonna have the person who sent me that Super Wrestlers video on. We're also talking about having a pilot on, but that's from the USS Rapapa. This has been Topic Thunder.